Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode number 49 of Hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel, presented by the JeopardyFan.com. Once again, I am Andy Saunders, and I will be moderating the discussion this evening. So, welcome. We have a small panel, but we have a great panel this evening. Once again, I'd like to introduce the founder of the JeopardyFan.com, Jeanie Kenkel. Say hi to everyone, Jeanie.
Hi, everyone.
We also have, returning to our panel, David Kendall from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Hello.
And we also have Kerry Greene, six-time champ?
Yeah,
Six-time champion from New Hampshire. Back in New Hampshire at this point, I presume, and not at the cottage?
Not yet. Go up
Not
on
yet.
Wednesday.
Okay. So, yes, this past week on Jeopardy, I think I'm going to start right out. Actually, one thing I'm going to go straight to the hashtag first. My bad on my notes from the hashtag. Once again, if you want to send a question or a comment to the panel, you may do so using hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel. Unless you're offering cigars, like you're probably going to get your tweet read out on the air. So basically, first up, from Jonathan once again. First of all, he does want to apologize. He wasn't trying to be mean to Bridget last week. He just thought we might have a funny answer to architectural disqualification. And I thought about it, and well, I guess you know what? You'd probably be disqualified if your design looked too much like a jail. Much like many Canadian university residences look like, or seem to look like jails or various things, which seems for some reason seems to be in that brutalist style, but that is neither here nor there. His actual question now, has Jeopardy Live Panel. Sorry, go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, it makes me glad that the university that I went to didn't have residences.
Oh. Where was that?
Oh, Winnipeg.
Oh, okay.
They recently built residences about 2-3 years ago, but I graduated 20 years ago. So.
Okay. Did you guys know David's a theater major?
No.
Yes.
Huh. No wonder you're unemployed, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, but yes, I think it may be more prevalent in Ontario because they built a lot of universities in the 1960s when the brutalist style seemed to be in vogue, and therefore there's a lot of ugly brutalist architecture in Ontario universities. But yes, Jonathan's question, has Jeopardy Live Panel noticed that sports categories come up more on the regular show on Wednesdays lately? You would think that they would want them to be on days when Sports Jeopardy doesn't come out. I hadn't noticed.
No, I didn't notice that at all.
No, I hadn't noticed either, but then I often don't watch the show on the day it actually airs, so because in summer especially, things pile up, and then I'll watch them, 5 at a time. So.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's actually a good way to study because, or at least prepare for the show, watching them 5 at a time.
Mm-hmm. And standing, right?
Yeah, exactly, because you'll go through, going through 5 at a time, it'll give you the, and have lunch after the third one. Maybe something that you might know might be in the Sony kitchen.
Well, they have everything, so you could eat anything for lunch.
So clearly you need to watch 5 in a row and mix up your lunches so that you have an idea as to what to expect. But so yeah, sorry, Jonathan, it's not something that we really noticed itself. And besides, as far as I know, for the most part, the categories are selected randomly from a bunch of boards each week by a representative from Sullivan Compliance. So having it on Wednesdays might just be a coincidence.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Moving on to my next topic of discussion. And I just want to say I think we're going to open with talking about Jennifer. For a lot of people, she's been polarizing. A lot of people like her, a lot of people hate her. As fans of the show, what do we all think of her?
Well, I was going to say, I think the regular fans of the show, like people who actually watch the show a lot, know the show, know what they want in the show, which basically describes a lot of people who've been on the show, people like us on the panel and those watching this. They know that Jennifer is the kind of person that the show liked. It gets people talking about the show. I seem to recall during my audition, the topic came up about Arthur, and I think it was Glenn was saying, well, any kind of publicity is good publicity. You know, if people are talking about the show, that's the kind of people that we want on. And definitely, Jennifer has got people talking about the show and saying, hey, take a look at this girl. What do you think of her? So.
Okay. One thing I just have noticed, J-Board did a poll, and there have been 100 votes so far, 60 of which loved her, 25 of which are neither here nor there, and 15% hated her. Now, take that 15 with a grain of salt, because I'm looking at the people who voted where, and it looks like Jennifer hated her for herself. So,
Well, she said she did, right? She likes to vote for the underdog, so.
makes sense. And but yeah, it seems like a good number of fans seem to like what she's doing. I haven't voted on that J-Board poll, but I just want to say that I like what she's doing. If she brings a nice energy to the show, she's not afraid to, have it out with Alex a little bit either. So I always enjoy when a contestant's able to have the presence of mind to banter with Alex on stage. And
I think a lot of the reason that people hate her too is that, for whatever reason, a lot of the contestants that they have, like probably even north of 90% of the contestants that they have, are just regular type folk who aren't Jennifer. And you see somebody that is different from the kind of contestants that they regularly have, and they think, well, the other people are supposed to be what they have, so what's this different person doing here, you know?
Yeah.
Well, in effect, they want it to be the other way around.
I didn't watch Friday, but I thought she was really entertaining on Thursday.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we can talk about today's episode yet. Is that
I'd
off limits?
rather it's off limits. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, okay. Too bad. I'll have something to say next time then.
Perfect.
Can we just say she was even more animated tonight?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was going to get at.
I would
there.
agree. I would agree.
There was a category that involved song in the title. Let's just say that.
Oh dear. Okay.
It was made for her.
So
Now,
basically,
after listening to what she's posted on J-Board and watching her on Twitter, I think she's a really open and honest and comfortable in her own skin kind of person, and I really think she's a entertaining person. I don't know that she's who I'd want to watch every night on Jeopardy, but she's who she is, and that's what I value most of all, is for people to go on and be themselves, because I got criticism at the other end of the spectrum, and at the end, if you're natural and you're doing what you do best, then you're going to play the game well. And if you're worrying about all that other stuff, what you look like, and then you're not thinking about the game. So I'm definitely a fan of her as a person.
I definitely agree with that, and I hope that, well, Again, I can't really. I haven't seen tonight's episode, so I have absolutely no idea what happened. So those of you who have seen it are probably going to laugh at me, but I hope she has a very solid run. So, of course,
Yeah,
that's.
I would love to see her in the Tournament of Champions.
Is that a spoiler? Obviously, that's a spoiler because.
It's not. I was thinking that before it started today, I'll have you know.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing, Jeanie, yes.
Thank you. And have you seen today's episode, David?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay. Get back to me after you watch it, Andy.
I don't know if it'll be tonight or tomorrow, but
okay.
Depends on how tired I feel and if I want to play Jeopardy while tired or not. Might be good practice for in the studio.
That's just what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't know. You know, you might play Game 5 as your first, and you'll have been sitting in that audience all day, and that's, that's exhausting in its own way.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I have another topic of discussion about this past week's worth of shows, I want to go on to the This Week in Jeopardy history segment, and obviously, for the past until a few years ago, the Jeopardy season tended to end in mid-July, and now it kind of goes into early August. I guess the calendar has kind of managed to push things back a little bit, but this week in Jeopardy history, I just want to talk a little bit about something called the Jeopardy Seniors Tournament. For 7 years, seasons 5 through 11, the Jeopardy season traditionally ended in mid-July with the Seniors Tournament. Contestants 50 years and older could play, and a few, Seniors Tournament competitors were became well known at that time amongst diehard Jeopardy fans. I know even though I was pretty young when the shows aired, I still remember Lita Rellstab from her games back in the late 80s, early 90s from the Seniors Tournament, and I enjoyed them. Unfortunately, though, the show found that the Seniors Tournament was less popular than they would have liked, and the tournament kind of saw its last incarnation in the mid-90s. They ran one or two in December after they moved it from the end of the season, and that was it. And how do we feel about the Seniors Tournament in general as a panel?
I'd like to see it brought back. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to ask, was it something like the Teachers Tournament where if you're 50 or over, you have a choice of going on either the regular game or the Seniors Tournament?
I don't think so. I think you actually applied specifically for the Seniors Tournament.
Oh, okay.
That's a good idea if they want to bring it back, though, David. They could do it that way. I think a lot of older people are discouraged from trying out because they think other people are younger and faster. I've heard that a few times, and it's just a shame because it's, these are bright people turning down the chance to try out even. So.
I think the buzzer speed, that's a real issue for people as they get older. Speaking for myself, for instance, and I know Von Winchell feels the same way. So I think he's very in favor of a seniors tournament.
I think that's
but I do think it could be an audience that they don't really concentrate on now. I don't think it would be a terrible thing, especially if they're going to broadcast more shows during the year than they had been doing.
I think that's something that Alex Trebek was saying, that if he ever got to compete on the show, he wanted to be on the seniors tournament because he knows all the stuff, but the buzzer speed is hard to compete against the younger folk. So yeah, he would definitely agree with you there, Kerry. I'm thinking maybe Jerry Harvey might have had better luck on the seniors tournament than the regular game.
He won twice. What are you talking about?
He won twice. But that's the thing. If he hadn't met Ken Jennings on his third game, he might have won 3, 4, 5 games.
But still,
so that's what I mean.
He beat Ann Boyd. He beat Ann Boyd, and he lost to Ken Jennings. How much, how much more can you ask for?
Oh, that's true.
I don't think he should have
any. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot who he beat.
Yeah, he beat Ann Boyd. It's not like he's, he was no slouch, but I would say he did just fine in terms of the regular show, and he won like 30,000 an average of 30 G's, for his game. So if I'm Jerry Harvey, then I'm not regretting anything. So
okay, so I give him props for that. But I know that also a lot of Jeopardy's core audience, if it was target audience, is the seniors people. Most of the people that I tend to run into who are big fans of the show, just on the street, not on the internet, are seniors, and they seem to be the core audience of the show, so they might appreciate a seniors tournament too. So yeah, that might be something to bring back. I've had the same thought as you, Andy. That it might be something to have.
We have one comment from the Peanut Gallery, or the Twitterverse, I should say. This one courtesy of Megan Barnes. I'd like to see the seniors tournament again, but I think the lower age limit should be 80.
Whoa!
They might have to give them chairs at that point.
Yeah. If anyone's interested, I will bring in a Jeopardy simulator to one of the seniors' homes I do trivia at, and I will run Jeopardy for them. But I make no guarantees as to how it's going to go.
Is Jeopardy really popular in this seniors' home?
Well, let's put it this way. At the one home I go into, I probably told you this story before, but the trivia night outdraws their bingo. So.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know that there's a couple of little old ladies just a couple houses down on the street that I live on, and when they found out that I was auditioning for Jeopardy, they were all very excited and wanted to know all the details. So.
Yay!
See, I got a lot of people excited about my audition too for Jeopardy, and they're not little old ladies.
Oh.
They were people around my age were excited for my audition on Jeopardy. Sorry, David.
Well, it's probably just you don't know a lot of little old ladies, right? I mean.
Well, no, hey, I do trivia at retirement homes. I know plenty of old ladies.
Do they know about your audition, Andy?
No, I don't think I
Well,
told
see?
them.
There you go.
That's why no little old lady has said anything to you.
So yes. That is so yes, that was this week in Jeopardy history. Now back tomorrow. See what I did there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yes.
By the way, Kerry, that was not the pun.
Okay, all right. Just.
Okay, so yes, kind of this one has to do a little bit with Jennifer's first interview. Obviously, she made a name for herself very quickly by producing a pair of drumsticks from Neil Peart of Rush. Would you bring a good luck charm onto the show? And if so, what? Or
I don't know.
So.
Yeah, two.
And
in
in the case of Jeanie, if you had the opportunity to go on again for some reason, would you bring a good luck charm?
I can't imagine anything I would bring that I would consider a good luck charm. And I probably wouldn't want to mess with it. You know what I mean? Like, I would just want to focus on what I was doing and not worry about having something that I didn't have to have.
David?
I know I don't think it's a good luck charm, but on the suit that I always wear, and if I'm wearing a different suit, I usually put it on the other suit. I always wear my Toastmasters membership pin. I wore it when I was at the audition. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Did you talk about it there?
If I win more than once, I'd be changing suits. But I I always make sure that the pin is on the suit when I change. So yes, I was wearing that and a little Canada flag pin too, because I figured, remember me as a Canadian.
Yeah. Did you talk about your pin at the audition?
I didn't talk about my pin, but I did work it into my interview that I was a Toastmaster for almost 25 years, and they seemed to find that interesting.
That was smart, David.
I know that there's been a few Toastmasters that have been on the show. They've run the odd interview with them in the membership magazine. So.
Okay.
Now, do you have any good luck charms planned for the tournament, Kerry?
No, I'm not a superstitious person in general, so I was just happy to have all my clothes with me, and that was hard enough. So
yeah.
I had a whirlwind shopping trip in the middle of everything. It was there was just that was enough to worry about. So no, I have nothing planned at all. I'll probably wear all the same outfits. Because, I just bought them, right? So.
No word yet on when the tournament is.
Nothing.
And
Nothing.
if she did, and if
believe
she
me,
did,
there are many people who are keenly waiting for that information.
Besides David, in case you're curious, even if she was to know, she wouldn't be allowed to announce it on the panel. That's for sure.
True. That's true.
So yeah, that's probably So good on you for, even if you knew, for keeping it quiet. So.
Well, didn't Sarah mention it last time before it taped? I'm pretty sure she did. Maybe not on the panel, but I think she did on J-board.
Yeah, but definitely not on the panel. I don't even think we were. No, we were doing the panels, but we didn't have her on the panel until after she taped. So. Back to this past week's worth of shows. Let's maybe try to talk about something other than Jennifer. We have anything we'd call teachable moments from the past week? Anything?
You must have something in mind.
Well, actually, I said that we're not going to talk about Jennifer, but if we're going to think about a teachable moment, I would say, remember, ties are no longer in effect, so put on the extra $1 when you're wagering in Final Jeopardy. That's one.
Is that something from Friday?
That's something from Thursday.
Oh. Okay.
She bet
because her way she would have got a tie if I think if the other person got final right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So that's I guess you could say that's my teachable moment. That we really should, now that things don't, ties don't happen or aren't allowed to happen, that you should throw on the extra $1. And maybe I will ask Jennifer about that when she comes on the panel, if she's able to come on the panel.
I would really like to see a tie happen, though. The odd times that we have had tiebreakers, of course, in tournament situations, those have been one of my favorite moments of the game. And not that I'm saying to everybody out there, hey, go get a tie, because I'd like to see it happen, because, 50-50 chance you lose out on all the simoleons if you do. But I would love to see a tiebreaker again. I like those. I like the tiebreakers.
I suppose. I would just, prefer people bet properly, but that's just me.
Sometimes, though, a tie can't be avoided.
True, and those are the times I would prefer to see the tiebreakers. And
yeah.
I think Jennifer did comment on this on J-board about a Friday show, I think, that it took her a very long time to do the math and that she felt very pressured, and Alex was going, so how's it going over there? And, that she was having trouble, even with the big piece of paper and the marker, that, it was very nerve-wracking. So.
Oh.
I can't imagine doing that math with a felt tip marker. Why don't they just give you a regular ballpoint pen?
They give you a Sharpie, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, why don't they just give you
a big piece of white blank paper?
So clearly you need to, so basically a large piece of white blank paper and a Sharpie. I don't have any Sharpies up here, but guess what? I write with Sharpies all the time. It's not, so
I don't.
Clearly, well, maybe you should start practicing.
No matter what wager I make, I'm going to get hounded by the wagering police anyways. I've just accept that as my lot in life, unless if I ever run away, and even then I'll probably wind up claiming it or something without my knowledge.
But one thing I do want to say, and one thing I did notice from Friday's episode, I guess in terms she managed, and I applaud her for doing this on Friday. She bet 4,000, and and honestly,
I don't think she did it. I don't think she did it deliberately, like with the just wager 4,000 in mind. Though.
I don't care. She wagered. Sorry, I'm just looking through the archive again from Friday. I'm sorry. I have to say, David, you can have your Sao Tome and Principe category. I will have my punny classic literature titles.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
And I'm sorry. That's what I'll go with. Those were all awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I think halfway through that category, I looked at my husband and said, "I am terrible at puns." That was not my thing.
Yeah, so no, that was definitely a highlight of the past week for me, seeing those categories. Of course, I was the one who probably caught, my failure to retweet fundamentalism before the Tournament of Champions probably directly led to that being a triple stumper, but in a tournament. But see, I was afraid of people stealing his puns for team names, so I don't retweet a lot of puns into my account.
Mm.
Ah.
So that was my excuse. So let's see here. Any other teachable moments we can think of?
I think so.
Speaking of things to teach and teachable moments, sounds like, Kerry, you might need some help with U.S. geography.
Well, I cannot be responsible for what comes up in my dreams. I'll tell you, that was a pretty strange one.
So, should I ask people to tweet into the hashtag with suggestions for learning U.S. geography?
Well, that could be interesting. But,
that could be interesting. Also, you might want to take the suggestions of any of your competition with a small grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, Vaughn keeps telling me I don't need to study anything at all. So, I don't know. He's either my biggest fan or, there's some ulterior motive going on.
I suspect there might be some ulterior motive going on there.
Definitely say something that everybody that's going on Jeopardy should study is Canadian geography. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. They like having it on the show. For Canadians, the questions that they have on the show are very softball, but for Americans, for some reason, it seems like it's the most complicated thing in the world to learn, and a Canadian can really clean up there, but Americans, we're not that much bigger than you. It's not that much harder to learn. We have 1/5 of the subdivisions that you guys have, so really Canadian geography is not that hard. But for some reason, Americans just seem to fall flat on their faces for it.
Well, that's because we're not taught well about anything but the U.S. I mean, half of our maps just stop, at the northern border. There's just nothing there. It's not ocean, it's not land, it's just nothing. It's sad.
Well, that reminds me of a story one of my grade 7 teachers told me. He was vacationing. He's driving down to Texas, and he was filling up his car down there, and somebody noticed his Manitoba license plate. And he asked where Manitoba was, and he said, well, it's just north of North Dakota. And the gas station attendant looked at him and he says, there's nothing north of North Dakota. Always remember that.
We did, and I mean, I'm dating myself here, but we did territories and provinces and capitals, but, you know, rivers, things like that, not so much. So, and that was a long time ago. I don't think my kids did quite as much as I did.
It's something that you need to know, and I'm not going to say that Canadian children are much smarter because we know Canadian and American geography and history and presidents and prime ministers, but it's not that hard to learn. If you're going to be on Jeopardy, it could very well come up. So anybody who's going to go on, learn it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I have an unfair advantage on that front, so since I travel to Canada so much.
We had another Canadian geography question on today's show. I won't go into details because I know Andy hasn't watched it, but I'm pretty sure that he will get it.
All I know is that if you're American and watching this broadcast tonight, learn the major Canadian cities and also learn Stratford. And every time they mention Stratford, there's going to be some sort of reference to Shakespeare or the Avon River. And the Avon River obviously is a tributary in Ontario of the Thames River, which happens to be the river upon which the Canadian city and, ironically enough, the English city of Stratford are both situated on. So, of course, the Shakespeare Festival is held yearly in Stratford, Ontario. Also gets referenced a lot in Jeopardy clues. So just keep an eye out for that. Shakespeare, Stratford. They usually go with that. So,
they've had an inordinate amount of Canadian lakes and rivers lately. Like there was a Canadian river clue on today's show, and I still remember the one that Roger Craig had in the Battle of the Decades about Lake Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah.
Well, of course you'd remember that.
Of course I remember that. But they've had other Canadian lakes on there. Great Bear and Great Slave come up many times. Yukon River's come up many times. And yeah, you mentioned the Shakespeare Festival definitely gets an inordinate amount of airplay.
Okay.
Canada, people, Canada.
Yes. So I'm at the point where I'm going to ask if any panelist has any questions for any other panelist.
So, David, what was the interview like? What did you think? Kansas City, your first, cross-continental trip?
Well, I kind of went into this on the live panel that they had after the audition, but going into it, even though it was my very first audition ever, having been a fan of the show for so long, having been a boardie since 2009, there wasn't really anything unexpected in it, but I knew exactly what kind of person they wanted there, and fortunately I happen to be that kind of person. Hopefully they'll do that too.
Yeah, that makes it easier.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed myself. I was prepared for whatever they threw at me.
But I didn't get any IVR.
Okay.
I have a question for David, too.
Okay.
Just what does your shirt say? I can see the top about sarcasm, but...
Oh, it's a
Cooper?
Big Bang Theory
Oh!
shirt.
Okay.
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 I didn't know it'd be going on air with it when I put it on this morning.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, last week I deliberately wore my J Archive shirt for that reason.
Yeah.
You have a J Archive shirt?
Yes.
Yes.
I got that last week or 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I'm going to look at that. Why do you guys have shorts for that?
Why not?
Why would you?
Exactly.
What dorks.
Hold on a second.
Too.
Yeah, really, to this crowd, that's not saying a whole lot.
I can't believe you just called both of us dorks.
Believe it. I'd do it to your face, too.
Proud of it.
But yes, I also have a J Archive shirt kicking around from when I got mine like 10 years ago, but it still fits.
Whoa. Okay.
I
Well,
even
but,
have a hat, but the hat hasn't held up as well.
You guys have J Archive hats?
We
I
had
don't.
J Archive. Yeah, there exists some J Archive hats.
Like baseball caps?
Yes.
Wow.
I was hoping to get a Jeopardy baseball cap at my audition, and I was sorely disappointed. I don't wear baseball hats, but I would wear the hell out of that one.
Oh yeah,
They
that's too
didn't-
bad.
They didn't give away any. They didn't give away one on my audition either.
No, that you got to play to get the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did they give you a hat if you?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
you got.
Yeah, it's in your little bag that you take
that.
with you.
Hey!
Yeah.
I have a hat from an audition, so.
Yeah. I've never seen I know you do, Andy, but I've never seen a hat given away at my auditions, so I think that was kind of unusual.
Well, there's more incentive to get the call. Contestant
Yeah.
coordinators call.
Maybe they realize. I'm now worried that they realized that I was coming into the audition and came up with an excuse to give me a hat. But that kind of scares me a little bit now and worries me that they'll be like, we don't think you're actually going to ever get on the show, Andy, so here's a hat as a token of our appreciation for. But this is when they're going to call me this week and prove me wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
you get a second pen. You get a second pen if you compete too. So,
Mhm.
everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
really, yeah. Okay. So yeah, again, does anyone have any other questions? Oh, okay, Kerry, regarding Prince Edward Island, does this lobster pad Thai actually exist?
Yeah, it's a restaurant called the Mill in New Glasgow, and the chef does a lot of Asian-inspired stuff, and it's awesome. It's quite spicy. Good stuff.
Okay, then New Glasgow PEI or New Glasgow, Nova Scotia?
New Glasgow PEI.
Okay. Because there's a New Glasgow in Nova Scotia as well that I
I
presume is
did know
slightly
that
larger.
as well, yes.
That I believe is slightly larger for me to have heard of it, so...
Yeah, New Glasgow PEI has 4 businesses, I think, and, several houses. That's
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
A church, a graveyard. Pretty typical PEI town.
Yeah.
At some point, I think I need to visit Morel, I think it is. One of my friends grew up there.
Oh, I know where
so-
that is.
Okay.
Yeah, right near St. Peter's Bay. Or,
Okay.
yeah, St. Peter's Bay.
Well, I think I've mentioned to you before, Kerry, that one of my goals in life is to see all 10 provinces, and the only ones I have left on that are the Atlantic provinces, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland. So,
Yeah, and, those are like the 4 that I got, soonest.
wow.
I haven't done those prairie provinces, so.
Well, those are tough to get to, and, Calgary and Edmonton in the winter aren't very fun, so...
Yeah, we, at some point we'll do the train trip across, and we'd love to go to Banff, but it just hasn't happened yet.
I've been through there a couple of times. It's very nice. Very nice.
Now, if they had a figure skating competition there, we'd get there sooner, so.
Excellent. Yeah, that's an excellent point. I'm sure though that, they'll throw Skate Canada out there eventually, so...
Yeah, we haven't looked into Skate Canada. We did go to Kitchener for the Grand Prix final one year, and that was great. It was beautiful. There was tons of snow, and it was just kind of this quaint little snowy town, and no, we loved it.
Skate Canada International this year in 2015 is going to be in Lethbridge, Alberta.
Hmm.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
kind of out there. We're doing Worlds in Boston, so I'm not sure I can convince anybody to go with me to do a Grand Prix event before that. But
Yeah, Lethbridge. That's southeast of Calgary a bit. Some of my favorite Canadian place names include, out there, Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump.
I've seen that one. that one makes international lists, definitely.
Yeah, Head Smashed in Buffalo. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site now, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Because the buffalo...
Well, I went to Gross Moor National Park in Newfoundland, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so that was very good.
If you want to be on Jeopardy, you're getting a free course on Canadian geography right now, so...
That's right.
Do you have anything you'd like to add on Canadian geography, Jeanie?
No, I don't have anything.
Have you been to Canada, Jeanie?
Just when I was little, like up at Niagara Falls. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Clearly, you need to make another visit to this fine country.
I know, and I do have a passport.
So yes, we're going to work on getting Jeanie up to Canada, and
If I can drive down to where you are, you can drive down up to where I am.
Yeah. Well, how's Andy gonna get there?
apparently I will fly or something.
Okay.
We'll see what happens if it'll be a lot easier for me to travel if I get on Jeopardy and win a bunch of money, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think
Or, I don't know, you could learn to drive.
Yeah, that is something that could happen.
I don't have my full driver's license either. I've had my beginner since I was 17, which is 25 years ago.
Well, what are the restrictions on yours then, David?
Huh?
Like, what's the difference between the one you have and any other license?
Basically, I can only drive if somebody's in the car with me. So I managed to drive down to Kansas City 14 hours, okay, but my wife was in the car with me.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There are a lot more restrictions on the new licensees now these days than there were before.
There's the same restrictions on new licensees these days too, but since I've had my beginner's license since 1989, I'm still under the 1989 rules. I've been grandfathered in. If I got my beginners now, then there's a lot more restrictions. You can't drive at night and a few other things, but they don't apply to me because I've been grandfathered in under the old rules.
So again, I will, while I check the hashtag once again, nope, still just the comment on the seniors tournament. So, does anyone else have any questions at this point?
I don't think so.
Okay, sounds good. In that case, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to our discussions on Jeopardy Live panel this evening. Our next episode is coming up Sunday, this coming Sunday, July the 26th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I hope that you're able to tune in and that you have lots of questions, and hopefully maybe the advance notice will get a few more people tuning into that on Sunday night. But for those of you who did tune in tonight and also who participated, thank you to, for sure, Kerry, David, and Jeanie. Also, thanks to Megan for for sending us a question using the hashtag for everyone here at thejeopardyfan.com. Once again, I am Andy Saunders. Have a great night.